Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us again for our biweekly guided meditation and Dharma talk here at the Blue Lotus Meditation and Mindfulness Center. I am so grateful to have all of your wonderful presence here with us this fine. Wow, 11/28, November 28th. Wow, the year is almost over. Can you believe that? Got another month left or so. Such a great experience, just knowing things that are going to change. Things don't stay the same. They are not permanent, or as we say, they are impermanent. Right? Conditions arise, conditions expire, or transition to something else. How wonderful that is. So again, today is November 28th, 2022. It's about 6 o'clock here, 6:01 exactly in the central time zone where I am. And tonight's topic is the fog of society, right? And it really kind of relates to the first noble truth, right? There is suffering in existence or in our lives. And so this has to deal with conditions that continuously arise, their causes, and so forth. And so, but before we begin on our Dharma talk, why don't we get ready for our wonderful guided meditation and to kind of keep up with the theme or the topic that we are on. Our guided meditation is all conditions are impermanent. It's important to realize that. And so that's why we're going to bring our awareness to those conditions. So let's begin by taking a moment and settling our bodies into that wonderful, comfortable position that is just right for you. You may close your eyes or keep them open with a soft, gentle focus looking downward a few feet in front of you if you choose. Whatever works best for you. And breathe in. Pause. Slowly exhale. And at this time, I warmly invite you to allow that half smile to rest on your face as well. Allow your spine to lift and your shoulders to soften. Allow your belly to soften as you continue settling in. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. And let's meditate on the impermanence of conditions. Everything changes. Nothing in the universe is static. A star is born, It shines for a time. And then it dies. A mountain is formed. It is in existence for a time. And then it erodes away. The ocean tides rise and they fall. All living things are born. They live for a period of time and then die. Our thoughts and emotions come. They stay for a while. And move off, only to be replaced by another thought. Impermanence is the nature of all conditions of things. No one or thing is exempt from being impermanent. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. Everything is created from something. Nothingness cannot create anything. When something ceases to exist, a star, a tree, an apple, its form is created into something else. It is in this condition of impermanence that we get to experience growth, love, empathy, and joy. It is also in this condition of impermanence that we get to experience death, loss, grieving, and suffering. conditions are impermanent. Go ahead and begin to open your eyes slowly and reorientate yourself to your surroundings. Be careful if you're going to stand up. And I wish you all peace and well-being. Wonderful. Wonderful. So the fog of society, the ignorance of the law of causality, causing, right? When we look at the first noble truth, there is suffering in this world. And then when we look at the second noble truth, it's because of cravings, right? Desires that we experience and are subjected to suffering. So the underlying cause of suffering is fundamental ignorance. Ignorance means our basic misapprehensions of reality. It's not just the ignorance of the rule of a game, right? Or maybe not understanding what a sign says, but it's the misapprehension or misunderstanding of what reality truly is. And ignorance is the ignition key, right? It's what starts our cyclical existence. Death, rebirth, death, rebirth. It's because of that ignorance that we are subjected to that cyclical, continuing cycle of rebirth and death. So the Buddha has taught us ways, the path, right? The Four Noble Truths and then the Noble Eightfold Path of how we can work towards our liberation. So in ignorance, there are two general types of ignorance. In the ignorance of the law of causality. And that's because everything has a cause. Right? There's always some root, some beginning. Because nothing, as I kind of mentioned in that guided meditation, right? Nothing is produced out of nothingness. There has to be something there. So that brings us to the law of causalities. And there are two types of ignorance that are a part of the law of causalities. There are the innate ignorance, something that's already built inside us, right? And then the acquired ignorance, which will be our focus tonight. Right? But innate ignorance, it's not something that's acquired. It's not something that we are continuously subjected to. It's already something that lies within our being. And a good example of that is maybe we instinctively blame someone or someone else for one of our misgivings or misfortunes. Maybe you didn't turn the stove up high enough while you were baking something and you blame someone else. Well, you should have double checked. Right? It's that instinctive defensive mechanism trying to protect that ego. Right? And so it's not something that's necessarily dependent upon reason. Right? Something that we kind of just jump in and fall back to. But acquired ignorance is what we'll be talking about tonight with the fog of society and how it perpetuates our suffering. And that's acquired ignorance is it's a result of influences or adopted beliefs or customs. And so we're all from different parts of the world, and even people in the same country have different beliefs or different customs, especially if you're in a larger country, right? Your northernmost region may have different customs or beliefs than, say, a southern region or a western region. And so those are the acquired ignorance that we'll be talking about. And some of those groups or customs, they get acquired into our system, into our beliefs, or the way we act. And really, groups or organizations. So think about if there's any organizations maybe you belong to on the outside, when you're not perhaps actively studying the Dharma. Right? Or perhaps you watch the news or something like that, and perhaps you see other groups of people displaying unkind behavior towards another group of people. Maybe they feel they're being replaced by someone else. Maybe they feel that they are superior, or perhaps even inferior, to another group of people. So that's an adopted belief that perhaps one may experience or witness in a group or an organization that you particularly move in. But something that we are all subjected to every single day, perhaps multiple times a day, depending on your particular behaviors, would be advertising, right? It's a group, right? That's an acquired ignorance. Advertising, trying to play on your emotions, trying to play on your happiness, because that's what advertising does, right? Advertising sells happiness. Let's think about some of those ways or some of those marketing approaches someone in advertising may make, right? Food and alcohol, for one, right? If you're in the United States or perhaps another country, perhaps you see McDonald's commercials or Burger King or whatever it is, right? Or maybe they're selling, French fries or pizza or whatever it is. You don't see too many unhappy people eating French fries or pizza, right? If you do, you're probably not going to buy it. Nobody wants to be depressed and eat a pizza, I suppose. Right? Or alcohol, especially with the holiday seasons coming up where we are in North America, right? But those are temporary. That's acquired ignorance. Right? Happiness doesn't come from a food. It doesn't come from, certainly does not come from a bottle of alcohol. Never will. Cars, another one, right? Always see the happy person driving a new car, right? They're not selling a car, they're selling an emotion. Clothing is or even accessories, right? Belts and purses and scarves and ties and so forth. Clothing is a huge commercial aspect where they are selling happiness. If that weren't true, why would there be so many knockoffs of name brands? Right? It's a status. If you have a high-end luxury handbag or suit, does that really elevate your status as a human being? Does the car you drive elevate your status? Or the types of food you eat? Does it elevate your status? It does not. So those are some of the types of the acquired ignorance that the law of causality talks about and deals with. So really it's just consumerism in general. Right? Consumerism in general. But again, so it can also be racial, right? Racial injustice or racial superiority. No one is superior to anyone else. Ever. We are all on our own journey, our own path to doing the best we can with what we have. And we all have the Dharma, and we all have love, we all have kindness. So, particular groups, perhaps they suggest that they are inferior or superior than someone else. That's an acquired belief. They weren't born with that. And we often don't question these beliefs, or sometimes we just minimize them. Perfect example are jokes, right? Insensitive jokes towards a particular demographic of person. Maybe it's somebody from the north, maybe it's somebody from the south or west. And minimizes someone else. That minimizing behavior or not even questioning those statements hurts you as well as them. Acquired ignorance keeps that dust or that veil and clouds our vision from walking that noble path. To achieving that state of liberation, of which we all are capable of doing and achieving. So, the Noble Eightfold Path, remember? Right thought, right action, right speech. All of this ties together. Ignorance of the law of causality, right speech, right thought, right meditation, maybe even right livelihood. So how do we mitigate these acquired ignorances that society or groups or organizations elicit upon us? We weigh the evidence. We critically weigh the evidence. It is important for us to ask questions, because not asking questions or minimizing doesn't increase our awareness or openness to the others that we encounter on a daily basis, everyone else. So we weigh that evidence critically, meaning that we also think rationally about, is that really a true statement? Everybody can't be like that. There are 8 billion people on this planet. So sociologists or statisticians right? We just hit that 8 billion mark. Those groups of people are people. Each one has the same wants and needs and requirements as you do. So we think rationally about these statements, about what we are being subjected to. And then we can also look back to the words of the Buddha in the Dhammapada. And I'll quote from him directly. How can a troubled mind understand the way? And the way is that eightfold path. If a man is disturbed, he will never be filled with knowledge. Right? Never be filled with knowledge if you are disturbed or you have that ignorance. Or what is the way? Again, the way is eightfold, right? So that noble eightfold path. And there are four truths, right? The four noble truths. All virtue lies in detachment, and the master has an open eye. So it's not detachment from people, right? It's not sequestering yourself away from everyone. It's removing the ignorance from our viewpoints, from what we think may be a funny joke or a harmful stereotype from someone, or even from about ourselves. It's important to put ourselves in that understanding as well. Very often I hear someone will say, I'm just not good at this, or it's not my strong suit. And so one of the questions I would ask, well, how often have you done it? How often have you tried this? Well, never, or maybe once. It's hard to figure out if you're good at something after maybe one try, or if you've never tried it. So keeping that open eye, that open mind. So the detachment is the ideas and the concepts and notions that we hold inside, the judgments. Remember, mindfulness is the non-judgmental awareness. Well, something to think about as we progress in our daily lives and our journeys towards liberation and towards understanding. And treating other people kindly and treating ourselves kindly. When we put someone down, not only are we hurting them, causing them suffering, we are causing ourselves suffering as well. So the master has an open eye. I would love, again, I'd lovingly thank you all for spending some of your precious time with me this evening as we talked about this. It's a very poignant and very needed topic to talk about, to bring to our attention. So you are certainly welcome to join us for our next Dharma talk on the 12th, December 12th, every 2 weeks. During the week, we have wonderful sanghas for you to all join. Everything is free. It's no cost to join. Just register. Excuse me. Just sign up and register off our homepage. Right? We've got our healing sanghas, our veterans sanghas, our new beginnings, rainbow sangha, and teen sangha. So join us. You're always welcome. And if you do like our talks and the positivity and the nurturing support that we hope that we provide, please continue to like and subscribe, and love to see you here. And with that, my friends, I Sincerely wish you all a wonderful evening of peace, ease, and well-being. See you on the 12th.